Hey there guys, welcome back to Backpocket Game Reviews, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about this whole Boogie situation. But Mr. Pocket, you already talked about the Boogie situation. That's correct, but I had a source come forward to me in private about some of the stuff that I could have been wrong on. I'm not going to disclose my source, so you can choose to believe what I say or not. That's up to you. Or you could take the information and process it and feel how you want about it and see if it is pertinent to the situation. A lot of people, when I did the first Boogie video, don't necessarily understand too, but I stated that I felt she was doing that for money. I actually defended Boogie, yet still got attacked by Boogie fanboys in that video and criticized her because she said she was being attacked by Boogie fanboys. I can now see where she is coming from. By the way, being a fanboy is still a shitty thing. If you can't take criticism and understand where a company or a person should be able to grow from said criticism, sometimes people do some shitty things, and sometimes it's really nice when they get exposed for said crappy things. A lot of that's so they can also grow from it and learn from the situation and hopefully not continue doing them. So for those of you who don't know, a lot of this came down from Boogie dating a cam girl. You can check out the previous video. I'll link it on the end card of this video for those of you who didn't see that one. But he was dating a cam girl called Lucy Fox. They dated for around 10 weeks. 10 weeks is what Boogie claims on Drama Alert, and he also claimed he hadn't spoke to her since February. Well, from what my source said, the last time he was actually speaking to her was mid-July, before all of this kind of became more brought to the forefront and brought to light. And a lot of what we were told was that he didn't want this to come out because he didn't want her to get criticized, even though he kind of made fun of her during some of his streams, calling her a hooker. To be fair, if you're making fun of her for being a hooker, you're the one dating said hooker, so what does that say about you? Just throwing that out there. You can't really criticize someone for what they're doing if you're choosing to date them, let alone he stated on several occasions he didn't have an issue with the job that she did, but her video kind of stated otherwise on that whole situation. If you knew someone was an adult industry entertainer, performer, takes a dick for a living, whatever, you can't really go into a relationship knowing that and then not be okay with it in the relationship. That's kind of contradictory. You knew going into it what they do. It shouldn't have shocked you. And to some extent, that's kind of what we are as YouTubers. We are like the same thing as a cam girl, just I keep my clothes on during my videos. I do this to entertain you and to bring you information and to have fun. I just, I'm clothed while doing it. Or am I? This is all CGI. So going forward here, if he was talking to her in July, according to my source, that's not very conducive of what he had stated on Keemstar. And a lot of people were on me saying, oh, you shouldn't be talking about this, just leave him alone. He talked about it on Keemstar. It's already been brought to light. It was on Drama Alert. My 36,000 subscriber count isn't going to bring it to more light than Drama Alert, okay? So let's move on and get over that part. But that also being said, Boogie is obviously someone who has been abused over his life. He's talked about that a lot. And he's talked about a lot of his mental health issues, from anxiety to depression to paranoia. And from what I've heard from the source, the paranoia is a lot worse than what we see as subscribers. And a lot of that comes down from the whole, a lot of those mental health issues. But there's going to be a lot of information we're going to talk about here in this that is going to it's going to be a bad look. Especially if it is all true. And judging by the source that I have, I'm going to say it probably is. But I'm not going to rat out my source when, that's kind of what I need to do some of my videos is sources, and I don't want them to ever feel, yeah. So with that being said, I also found out during this little chit chat that apparently Boogie was dating, or at least talking to and messing around with this girl before the divorce even started. So some of you might remember that Boogie had a night where he kind of freaked out on stream, talking about how his wife wanted some space, and he kind of was going down like this downward spiral when he found out about it. From what I hear, the cam girl thing started after that. The divorce didn't come till after the cam girl stuff. So to some degree, Boogie's divorce may have been more of his own fault than what we honestly probably know or realize. His wife has, for the most part, remained pretty closed lips about the divorce and doesn't really talk much about it. And a lot of that's because Boogie's audience kind of attacked her and drove her off Twitter. Yeah, crazy how that works, isn't it? A guy who's on the fence about everything and doesn't want to offend everyone, but his audience is capable of such toxicity that they attack anyone who wrongs him. Makes perfect sense. Keep in mind, I'm a huge Boogie fan. Boogie's a big part of the reason why I started my channel. So go F yourself. And even in the first video, I remained pretty on Boogie's side. I even stated where I thought she was doing this just for publicity, but now having seen that she was doing this more or less to kind of get Boogie's subscribers off of her, that's why she uploaded that video, I can now see where she is coming from with that. My first video has, that one has an insanely odd like to dislike ratio, and a lot of it comes down to people not being able to handle criticism against Boogie. With that being said, those are two huge bombshells of news going into this, though, where it's the divorce was this fooling around with the cam girl started before the divorce was even finalized, or before the divorce even was brought up or started. And then you have the whole, he was in contact with her during July. From what I hear too, there was no physical abuse. He's just very mentally abusive. So a lot of what's happening here is the abused is becoming the abuser. And I get it, he's going through a lot mentally, but to that same degree, maybe you're not ready for a relationship if you are in that kind of spot mentally, because it's not right to tear someone down like the same thing you're accusing of what's happened to you and how wronged you've been. It's very hypocritical. So you don't abuse someone just because you were abused once. That's not okay. And again, I'm not going to pick a side because I'm giving you information that I'm provided from a source who is very close to this situation. And I don't think it would be right for me to sit here and instantly take it all 100%, because obviously I haven't spoke to Boogie. I don't know really where he stands on a lot of this. I did find out that it is false. He does not take people's cell phones when they come into his house to control the media coming out. You still have your own cell phone and stuff. He just prefers that you keep certain things a little more on the down low. So that part is a lie. There were a couple people who brought that up in my last video and mentioned it in the comments. I wanted to clarify that. So when I was talking to said source, I did ask that particular question. I do feel bad too, because for this particular girl, Lucy Fox, who he had this relationship with, he was someone she really liked him. Like, she idolized him. He was someone that she followed already. She's a big gamer and nerd. So to her, he was pretty cool. Like, this is like one of my idols. Now, I mean, granted, just because someone's my idol does not mean that I find them attractive or that I would want to put it in them or let them put it in me. So just to be clear, I don't necessarily find that as like a get out of jail free card here, but I do see where she could have probably been more manipulated by him. But I do feel that if there was mental abuse, she had every chance to walk away from it and probably should have. Now, I also don't know when it started. It could have been everything was going great for a couple months, then he started to get like this. But even a couple months, that's I mean, you're not in a serious relationship at that point. You can still walk away from that situation. I'm just more or less saying I think she might have been more justified now in that video than what I originally felt. And a lot of that is, again, just from what I hear, she's received a lot of backlash from Boogie subscribers. And I didn't even know about this situation until I was in Boogie's birthday stream. I was watching his birthday stream on Twitch. Some of you probably even saw me in there. And the cam girl situation kept getting brought up by a lot of his subscribers. That's why I went out of my way to personally find out about the situation and look into it. I saw both videos, I researched it, and then I did my video. And my video was providing the facts and remaining somewhat in the middle, even though I did lean more towards Boogie's side on that whole situation. But a lot of the stuff that we're finding out through this isn't necessarily conducive of the person that he presents himself as in his videos, which is part of what's really interesting to me. And I get a lot of why he doesn't pick a side is because he's afraid of the backlash he'll get from one side. I'm sure he actually has one. He's just too afraid to give it to you because of his anxiety, paranoia, any of those other mental health issues he has. There are times where he does try to call things out to bring a positive light to something, and he does do a lot of the whole, oh, I expect good out of everyone. You know, he always looks for the best side of a whole situation rather than instantly jumping to this person had the worst intentions. And that is a good thing, but a lot of this is also kind of making me wonder how much of it is an act, how much of his persona that we see online is just a persona. I'm not saying I'm not a Boogie fan anymore. I'm not saying that I don't watch his content. A lot of you guys have seen me in his comment section. But it is really interesting to see the backlash on this, and a lot of people going, oh, you shouldn't be talking about this. Why are you bringing more light to it? Boogie went on Drama Alert about it. Do you really think my 36,000 subscriber count is going to get more attention to it than Drama Alert? Come on, be real now. He went on the H3H3 podcast and talked about this stuff. Hi, I'm not H3H3. I don't even have that kind of an audience. And I'm not doing this to hate on Boogie or to even do a character assassination. Again, Boogie is one of the largest gaming YouTubers that there are. And to a huge extent, he was someone I idolized for a long time. But even he has stated before, he's a dick. He can be unbearable to be around. And a lot of times I always just chalk that up to his mental illnesses. But how much of it is honestly him, and how much of a get-out-of-jail-free card do you give someone just based off of having anxiety and stuff along those lines? I have anxiety. I don't take medication for it anymore. I have very much so learned how to handle it myself. And sometimes it can be very overwhelming. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it just is a matter of changing the way I'm thinking. And a lot of that can be very hard. So I get that as well. I understand where not everyone can do that without medication. Even medication can mess with how you mentally perceive things, especially depression medication, if that's something he is taking. And I'm not trying to say one side in this is right or wrong, because I honestly don't know. I don't have all the information. I do not necessarily agree with him cheating on his wife. That part, that's very wrong to me. I wouldn't do that to my wife. My wife's my best friend, and if I did that, I obviously didn't give two shits about our friendship to begin with. But I just, a lot of this is, it's going to come out either way. You're going to hear about this information, whether it's from me, whether it's from Keemstar, whether it's from H3H3, whether it's from Boogie himself, whether it's from Lucy Fox. This information is going to be out there. I'm trying to assemble what I can of it to give you at least a unbiased view of it and kind of where I'm interpreting this information and what's going on in this situation. But if Boogie is this terrible human being and he is abusing other people, that's pretty bad. That's a really bad look on him. And I'm not saying that that is the case, because I don't know. I honestly don't. But there are a lot of hypocrisies going on here from the information that is coming out and from what he personally says and from the person that he tries to act like that he is. But how much of it is exactly that, just an act? So, I don't know. I would love to hear your guys' opinions about this, though, in the comments down below. You can let me know down there. Where do you guys sit on this? Do you think that what Boogie's done is in the wrong? Do you feel that Boogie's not really the person he represents himself to be? Do you feel he's innocent in this situation and this is just media being strung against him? Again, I like hearing your guys' comments and your thoughts on a situation, and I'm curious to where you guys sit on it. So, you can let me know down there. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a thumbs up, or if you absolutely hate this video, you can drop a thumbs down. And if you're new, subscribe, ding the little bell, let you know when I upload new content, and stick around. If you want to follow me anywhere else, it's all in the links in the description box down below. And I'll have plenty more content coming for you, so stick around.